What Hashem is saying to Moshe?
Come.
To who?
To Pharaoh, no?
To Pharaoh?
I'm with you. Come to Mitzrayim and sort the Jews out.
Okay.
He's like, come see my wrath.
So we're in the middle, what's going on, we're in the middle of the 10 plagues. So actually more than half is already done, the 10 plagues that Hashem put on the Egyptians. And last week's Parsha was 7 of them. And this week's Parsha is 3 more to go. The commentary spent time explaining that the 10 plagues was a reason why Hashem did each one. The Nile turning over to blood, the frogs, the lice, the leprosy, the shechin that they had, killing the cows. Basically, some of the commentaries try to do is measure to measure. All what Paro did bad for the Jewish people, he's being punished for. We start with the Nile. The Nile was very important for the Egyptians. Those that considered the Nile was the source of the water of Egypt, and they considered the power, that the sources for water, the power. So Hashem says, the first thing that I'm going to punish, you think that it was also a midrash that said, that Paro came to a degree that he said that he's God. He said that I created the Nile. It's my Nile, I created it. So Hashem says to him, oh yeah, it's your Nile? Let's see what happens tomorrow morning. Your Nile that you created, guess what? You won't see the water, it's going to be blood. So it's starting with the power of the Egyptians, with the power of Paro, punishing him directly with the Nile. The frogs, for example, is the noise, the voices of the frogs is for the screaming of the Jewish people that they are screaming and they didn't pay attention. So basically the idea is they go one by one and explaining that the Egyptians are being punished for each thing. They took away the freedom of the Jewish people. They took away their wives, they took away their children, they took away their property, so they're controlling everything. And Hashem is punishing in every direction that is possible. All your cows will die. Oh, the Jewish people are afraid from you? Well, guess what? You know who's coming to town? All the lions and tigers and scary animals are coming, and they'll scare you. So you go, and it fits very well, this idea that they're being punished measure to measure. But actually, is another one point to realize. When Moshe came the first time to Pharaoh, Hashem said that you should release the Jewish people. What did Pharaoh say? Well, he says, I don't know Hashem. So, I don't know Hashem. Lo yadati et Hashem. That's what Pharaoh said earlier. So, in the Pesach night, we have a mitzvah to tell over the story of the Exodus of Egypt. That's what we do Pesach night, right? So Rabbi Yehuda puts the 10 plagues in 3 sets. Datzach, Adash, Ba'achav. Datzach stands for Dam, Tzfardea, Kinim. Datzach, okay? Dam, Tzfardea, Kinim. The second set is Adash. What's Adash? Arov, the dangerous animals coming to Egypt. Dever, the plague that all the cows die. Shechin is the leprosy that they had on the skin. That's the second set, Adash. And the third one is Ba'achav. Ba'achav is Barad, the hail that came down. The Aleph is Arbe, the locust. Chet is Choshech, the darkness. And the last one is Bechorot, the firstborn. So you could say that Rabbi Yehuda organized it just to remember. It's a good way to remember things, right? Instead of going over the 10 plagues, so he said it in 3 sets. Datzach, Adash, Ba'achav. But the commentaries explain that is more than that. And let me show you. So let's open chapter 7, verse 17. chapter 7, verse 17. So it's page 326. It's last week's Parsha. So this is in the very beginning when Hashem says to Moshe that to turn over the Nile to the blood. So look at verse 17, okay? 326, page 326, verse 17, Pasuk Yitzayin. Ko amar Hashem. Moshe is saying to Pharaoh, this is what Hashem, the God, told me to tell you. Bazot teda ki ani Hashem. You, Pharaoh, last week told me who is Hashem. I don't know him. Lo yadati et Hashem. That's what Pharaoh said. I don't know. Who is that God? I don't know him. Well, guess what? You're going to know him. You see the verse? Bazot, with this, teda ki ani Hashem. Hina anochi makeh, I'm going to hit b'mateh, with the stick, the staff that I have, asher beyadi, alamayim underwater, asher bayaor, on the Nile, v'nehefchu, they'll turn over, ledam. V'adagar, all the fish, asher bayaor, tamut, will die. Uva'ash, will all get bad, disgusting, and smell terribly. Hayor v'nil'u, they'll be disgusting to drink the water. The Egyptians won't want to drink the water. Lishtot mayim min hayor. Okay, so you realize over here, what does Hashem say? The introduction to this set, the warning is, well, with this you'll know that I'm Hashem. Bazot eda ki ani Hashem. So this is the introduction for the first set of Dam, Tzfardea the frog, and the lice Kinim. Let's move on. Let's go now to chapter 8, verse 18. Okay, verse 18. That is page 332. Okay. So this is the arov that these all these animals will come in and scare the Egyptians. Let's start verse 17. Ki mincha meshalech. If you refuse to send, to release my people, etami, hineni, behold, I will, meshliach, I'll bring over, becha, by you, be'avdecha, your servants, be'amecha, your people, uvevatecha, in your houses, et ha'arov, all these, arov means a mix, a collection of different animals, umilu, they'll fill up batei mitzrayim, et ha'arov, vegam at ha'adama asher alea. Everything will be loaded with these animals. Vehifleti, I'll distinguish, separate, bayomahu et eretz Goshen, asher ami omed alea. It will be unbelievable because all these animals will go over in all the areas of Egypt except the neighborhood of the Jews, Goshen. The Jewish people settled in Goshen. Remember when Yosef came down with his brothers, they settled in Goshen. So Hashem says to them, you'll see very clear the boundaries. Where's the punishment? The Egyptians are being punished and the Jews, no. Okay, so he says to him, I'll separate, right? Ve'ifleti, I'll separate bayomo that day at Eretz Goshen. The land of Goshen will be separated. Which my people are there. Asher ami omed alea. Levilti heyot sham arov. The animals wouldn't come to their area. The animals will not step into Goshen. Asher ami omed alea. Levilti heyot sham arov. Leman teida, in order that you should know, ki ani Hashem bekerev haaretz. What does Moshe say to here? What does Hashem say to him to say? You should know that I'm Hashem. Bekerev haaretz. What's bekerev haaretz? In the midst of the land. This is another stage. Earlier, the first time Hashem says to him, you said, who is Hashem? Well, you'll know that it's Hashem. It is such a power in the world that controls everything. So you asked Moshe, you said that I don't know God. Well, you're going to know God. Now you might say, maybe God is so holy and so powerful, it doesn't make sense that he deals with things that happen here on earth. It was such an idea back in the day also, that people that are worshiping idols that say, we believe there is a creator. We believe there is a power that controls everything. But it's ridiculous to him to deal with the things that go here in the land. It's not appropriate for him. Why he has to deal, with the mess of the people over here, so to speak. And we says Hashem is into the details. Hashem is everywhere. Hashem controls the creator that created this world, is running this world, and knows exactly what's going on into the details. So Hashem is saying to him, not only Ani Hashem, like we said in the very beginning, now we add in Bekerev Haaretz, in the midst of the land. Okay, so that's the second set that we're coming. This is before the plague of Arov. So this is the second set. And now, what happens before the plague of Bechorot? So look what happens over there. Look at page 336. So this is the warning before the hail, before the barad. Look at verse 14. So Hashem says to Moshe, this is what you should say to Paro. Look at verse 14. Ki bapam hazot, this time, ani sholach, I'm going to bring down Kol magerfotai, all my plagues, elibcha, to your heart, something that you'll be very scared from. Uva'avadecha, your servants, uva'amecha, again, your people. Ba'avur, for the reason, teda, that you should know. Ki en kamoni b'chol haaretz. What we just add here? None like me. So the idea is like this. When Rabbi Yehuda said this order, these three sets, Datzach, Adash, Ba'achav, it's an order of plagues, is a set of plagues, but the idea is it's going in stages. First, you should know that is Hashem. Second, well, he knows what's going on here in the land. Don't think that he doesn't knows what's going on here. He's in the midst of the land. Oh, but 1 second, who said that he's the only God? Maybe he's another God. What does it say here? What does it say here? Bavu teida, that you should know, ki en kamoni, there's no one like me in the world. So that's the idea, teaching Paro, telling him, showing him, that's the purpose really of the 10 plagues. Is a few things are happening here together. First of all, Paro is getting punished for what he deserves. For putting the Jewish people in slavery, putting them to suffer so much, that they should suffer so much, throwing the children to the river, controlling them, taking away their wives, and literally taking away the life of the Jewish people. So he's getting punished for what he deserves. That's one. B, now the world recognizes the power of Hashem. If somebody is a power that controls this world. Look, somebody's changing nature. When is the last time that the Nile turned to blood? When you had these crazy things that all these dangerous animals come from Africa to Egypt and all the Egyptians are terrified. When you had this idea that the whole town is blackout, darkness. The commentaries explain how long was every plague? 1 week. The order was that the plague was for 1 week, and then it was a 3-week break, and then the next one. That's most commentaries explain that was the plagues. So the commentators explain, for example, in the darkness, first 3 days was darkness. The last 3 days was so thick that they couldn't move. Though literally, it's not only that you felt the dark, so to speak, when there's a big fog that you can't see, so they felt that the darkness, not only that they couldn't really move, so it went in stages. But anyways, guys, that's the idea. That's what's going on here. It's a combination of a few things. Hashem comes to the point and he says, okay, this man deserves the punishment. He's getting what he deserves. And Hashem is showing the power, his power in the world. And that's really the idea, guys. It's not only a lesson to Paro, it's a lesson to the whole world. In this week's Parsha, before the locust comes, Hashem says, oh, that your children and your great-grandchildren will talk about this. Wow, what happened in Egypt? Oh, somebody changed creation. Somebody changed nature. And that's how people come to speak and talk about the power of Hashem. So it's not only the idea, guys, of power being punished, it's also a lesson to us, the Jewish people, and also the rest of the world, that everybody should see, recognize what's going on here. This doesn't happen often. These things happen once in a blue moon. The 10 plagues that the Egyptians went through, changing nature, does Hashem like to change nature or no, guys? No. Hashem created the world in a system, in a way that it should work, that is nature. When you plant, something should grow. When you lit oil, right, it goes on fire. So Hashem created certain things that should work according to the system. Here, he's changing nature for a combination of the reasons that we said. Is an evil man, is an evil nation that needs to be punished. And there are people that have to make the emunah, the belief in Hashem, stronger. And how do I do that? How do I make this thing happen? I'm going to bring the 10 plagues and make this happen. They'll believe that is Hashem, Teidak Hashem. They'll believe that he's here in the land, and you'll believe that he's the only God. But that's the idea. That's exactly what's happening. And this will be a foundation with the Jewish people that they're experiencing it. They see all what is happening to the Egyptians, and they're safe in Goshen. They're okay. Wow, how did that happen? So all of that is the two things together. And the idea is that we really need to leave Hashem. Look at this week's parasha. Let's go to page 340. So, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Bo el Paro, come to Paro, ki ani hichbadeti et libo. Again, this is meant to be, I heard in his heart, and vet lev avadav, his servants, leman, in order, shiti, I'll put, ototai, my wonders, ele bekirbo. I heard in his heart, because we're not done yet. Those 7 plagues went by, but there's still 3 to go. So I still heard it in heart, we're not done yet. That's basically in different words. So that's the punishment to power that he deserves. He's getting what he deserves. But another idea is going on here. Uleman tesaper, in order that what? You'll tell over. Boznei bincha, you'll say it to the ears of your children, your sons. Uven bincha, your grandchildren. Esher italalti, that I tricked b'mitzrayim, the Egyptians, I punished them, I tricked them. V'tototai, the wonders, asher samti bam. V'yadatem, and you, this is also for the benefit of the Jews. It's not only punishing the Egyptians, it's for the benefit of the Jewish people. When they're seeing that this is happening, that's making their emunah stronger. The Jewish people, how many years are in Egypt? 210 years. Remember, Egypt is a big empire. Paro is a big king. The Jewish people are over there for 210 years. What was left in the Jewish identity? Almost nothing. The Talmud says that 3 things remained. Shaya, what stayed? What remained Jewish by them? They ate gefilte fish on Shabbos, right? What else?
Dress.
Without the carrot.
Language?
Oh.
Dress names and language.
3 things. Meaning they're worshiping idols. The celebrating the holidays of the Egyptians. Doing everything. It didn't happen in one day, but slowly, yeah? 3 things remains. The name, language, and clothing. Those are the 3 things that were left that the Jewish people will still identify. That's why this idea, the Jewish people need it as well. This reminder that is a creator, and you guys are Jewish and you're not Egyptians, very, very necessary for the Jewish people. Most of them are thinking that we are stuck there forever. Can you imagine? Go back in time, guys. The Jewish people are born there, raised there, then the family, everybody's there. What they're thinking? Most chances that they are stuck there forever. There are commentaries that say, you know what happened in the days of darkness? Couldn't move, right? I told you it was done in 2 stages. You know what has happened?
No, the Jews died.
Very good. According to one midrash, speaking about why these plagues happen, so the reason for darkness, Rashi brings down 2 explanations. One is that the Egyptians hide all the silver and the money that they took from the Jewish people. So in the days of darkness, they came over and they took it without the Egyptians to see. Right? So they're looking for the silver sticks, for the candle, for whatever they took. All what they stole from the Jewish people came in the days of darkness and took. That's one reason. Second reason, very interesting. Unbelievable, guys. Did all the Jews come out of Egypt?
No.
According to this, only 20% came out from Egypt.
600,000?
The 600,000 men between the age of 20 and 60. But you have to calculate children and women. So you have to calculate below 20 and above 60 and women. So millions of people went out of Egypt, according to this calculation. But the idea is like this, only 20% come out of Egypt according to this midrash. Most people thought that we are stuck there. Or they didn't want to go out. Nah, well, you'll take us to Israel and give us the land and that. We're good over here, even though that we're in slavery and that, but yeah, well, this is okay. You know, we're comfortable with what we have. Well, you'll take us the land and then you'll tell us to keep Shabbos and then to put on tefillin and then to eat kosher and all that. Leave us here in the slavery is okay. Well, you want to stay there, fine. So you got what you want and they die over there in Egypt. Okay, so that's happening in the darkness. But that's the idea, guys, that the Jewish people need it. This is showing the Jewish people also changing nature and showing the power of Hashem is not about only punishing the Egyptians. It's needed for the Jewish people, not only for that generation. The Pasuk says that you'll tell it over to your children and your grandchildren. What we do Pesach night, we talk about the Exodus of Egypt. The Exodus of Egypt, guys, is the foundation of the birth of the Jewish people. And when you get together Pesach night and you're speaking about the Exodus of Egypt, you're talking about from where you come. This is our roots. This is our foundation. We had patriarchs. We had Avram. We had Yitzchak. We had Yaakov. But those are individuals that are very close to Hashem. Hashem guide them. Hashem help them all the way, all the journey. But it was a family. The Jewish people become a nation only when they come out of Egypt. And this foundation, this experience that they're going through, they're experiencing miracles that will be only at that time. They experience the 10 plagues, unbelievable, the whole year. They experience after the split of the Red Sea. They receive the Torah, the mega event ever that happened to the Jewish people. Hashem is speaking to them directly, not through messengers or prophets that came over to them. Directly Hashem appeared to them. They experience it. They're walking in the desert for 40 years. What they're eating? Manna. Whoa, oh my gosh, right? Those are great miracles that are necessary for that time. And this they'll have to take them for the future as well. And that's the idea. Hashem doesn't like to make miracles that often. When it's a need, he'll do it big time, and that has to stay forever. And the idea for us is we have to live it, guys. Not only to know it, we have to live it. The Ben Ish Chai says, it gives the example, sometimes how we forget about this. So there's a man walking in a forest, and he sees, oh my gosh, there's a huge bear coming to attack him. He doesn't know what to do, right? Well, he has nothing with him. It's a huge bear about just literally to attack him. All what he has is one stick with him that he was walking in the forest. So nothing to lose. He throws on him the stick. And guess what? The bear collapses and dies. So the man is thinking, wow, my stick is unbelievable, huh? That's what the man is thinking. My stick is unbelievable. What happened is, guys, he didn't realize. Somebody was in the back over there in the forest. Saw the bear that is about to attack this man. He shoot an arrow in the back of the bear and killed him. So the man doesn't know that a miracle, he just experienced a great miracle. That's how we act, that's how we behave sometimes. Exactly like the man. We think that we are throwing the stick. We decide, we make decision, and I'll do this, and I'll do that, and I'll say this, and I'll do that. And we have the feeling, oh, it's me. But guess what? Somebody's behind the scenes that you don't even know. He killed a bear, right, and saved your life without you to knowing, right? It was like that story. It was the guy that was looking for parking in Manhattan, and he's late, and he has a major meeting. So he's going around the block and looking for parking, all right? So he opens the window and says, listen, Hashem, okay, listen, this is a major meeting. If I find parking, I'm starting to keep Shabbos, right? And as he opens his eyes, somebody is pulling out. So what does he say? Oh, Hashem, forget about it. I found parking. Right? What's the idea? Sometimes we get the answer so fast we don't realize that it's Hashem. We have to live it. The Khatam Sofer points out something very interesting. When Moshe and Aaron came in the beginning to Pharaoh, so they came with the power. Moshe came with his stick, with the mateh. And what happened? They turned over to be snakes. And Hashem said to him, this will be one of the miracles that you'll start to show, right, Paro. So Moshe and Aaron throw the stick, it turns over to a snake. Well, the black magic people in Egypt managed to do the same thing. They throw their stick, it turns over to snake. But what happens? Moses' snakes eats them, the others. Now, look carefully, guys. When does Moshe's snake stick eats the others? When it turns over, when it's a snake or when it's a stick?
Snake.
What were you thinking till today? Snake, yeah. When it was a snake. So it turned over to a snake and the snake ate the other snakes. Yeah. Very good. The Khatam Sofer points out and he says, no. All the Egyptians also managed to do it with the black magic and it turns over to a snake. It turns back to be a snake. It turns back to be a stick. After that, it turns back to be the stick. And also the stick of Moshe. The stick swallows the other sticks. So it's just to make the miracle greater, right? When is the last time you saw a stick eating another stick, right? You saw that?
A snake
No.
eating a snake?
A stick swallowing other sticks. Just the Khatam Sofer says like this, the following. Okay, so it's a very interesting idea. He's saying, if you look carefully in the verses, it fits very well. It says in page 326. Look at that. 326. So it says, go a minute to 324. Go a minute to 324. Verse 11. Vaikra gam Paro. So Paro called lachachamim, his wise people, his advisors. Verse 11, you okay? Ulemechashvim, the people that do the black magic, veyasu gam hem, they manage also to do also chartumei Mitzrayim with their magics, with their tricks, belatem. Vayashlichu, they also throw, ish mateo, each one throws his stick. Vayu letaninim, they turned over to be snakes. Look what does it say. Vayivla mate Aharon et matotam. What does it say? The staff swallowed the other staffs. It doesn't say that the snake of Moshe swallowed the other snake. It's the staff swallowed the other staff. So actually, the Khatam Sofer, right, points out very right. It fits very well in the Psukim. It says really that the staff of Moshe swallowed the other staffs. Okay, to make the miracle even greater. But it's another point here, guys. What is the idea? The idea is like this, and this is a very interesting idea, guys. A man, what do you do with a staff?
Use it to support yourself.
Magic.
Moshe doesn't. Yeah, that's what you do with a staff?
Hit people.
I tried to.
Harry Potter. Right.
Stability.
Your employee. Staff is your employee.
Yeah, to lean on it. So basically, to lean on it. When you walk in, you need. Some people need a staff. They lean on it, or if the shepherds use it to hit the animals, right, to guide them in the right way. But the idea is that the staff is being used by the man. He's using it, right, is a tool to lean on or to use it for something. It's only a tool. The staff itself is nothing. And that's what the message is, right? The staff is nothing. The staff is just a tool. It's a piece of wood, but you could use it for certain things, and that's what Hashem is saying to the power. You guys think that you have power. You're the biggest empire. You're denial, right? Pharaoh even came to the point that he thinks that he's God and he's the one that made the Nile. It says that one slave wasn't able to leave Egypt before the Jewish people left. So Pharaoh thinks that he's control of everything. And Hashem is showing to him, all what you have is sources that I created. There's nothing that it's independent and has its own power. I could take something so simple as a piece of wood that it's nothing, just a piece of wood. And if I want, it will swallow the other staff, the other sticks of the others. Everything here in the world is sources that I created. This is nothing. Nothing has power on its own. The most simple thing in the world, the simple wood, I could make a miracle and it will swallow the other sticks. But it's all coming from the source. It's all coming from me. That's the idea. Take the most simple thing in the world, a piece of wood, and that will swallow the others to show it's anyways coming from Hashem. Hashem could do whatever he wants. So it's not only the snake of Moshe swallowing the other snake. Hashem wants to make the miracle even greater, taking the simple stick, piece of wood, and swallow the others. Nothing has power. Nothing is independent. It's all coming from me. And when it's all coming from me, I don't need the snake to swallow the other snakes. It could be a piece of wood that is swallowing the other sticks. I'll just finish also. The Talmud says that the generation before Mashiach will come will act like a dog. You heard about this? Such a concept it says in the Talmud. So what it means exactly that will act like a dog. So there are a few explanations. Some say the chutzpah, the dog doesn't have manners or behavior. Whatever he wants, he asks, he barks, he screams, and he deserves it, right? You have to give me. Breakfast, lunch, supper, you have to take care of me. And if no, he knows how to ask for it. So some say it's the chutzpah. Some say it's the idea, very interesting idea. When you hit a dog with a stick, what does the dog do? He'll go and jump on the stick. He doesn't understand that somebody is holding the stick and he's the one that gave him the hit. Right? He's thinking, oh my gosh, this is what hit me, the stick. And he goes and he jumps and he bites the stick. That's what he'll do. People in the generation before Mashiach will come will be like the dog. We will get hit with a stick, and instead of doing tshuva and waking up and saying, who hit us? Who's holding the stick? Who beat us up with the stick? Is Hashem behind that? We'll be like the dog and blame this and blame that and do this. This is wrong. That is wrong. He's wrong. This is because of this. This is because of this. Exactly like the dog. Biting the stick, blaming the stick, and not looking who's holding the stick, who's behind the stick that hit us. That it's all coming from Hashem. And that's the idea, guys. That's what we learn. That's the idea of the 10 plagues. Is besides the idea of punishing Paro, is Hashem showing the Jewish people that He's controlling everything from A to Z every given moment. Have a great day.